This is Movies, a podcast about the act of cinema. With me today is Hans. Hans, have you ever been to Florida?
Yeah.
You have been.
When I was 12 years old, we went to do the
Disney. You went to Disneyland. You
yes,
hugged Goofy.
yes. I hugged Extreme Ghostbuster that was in a wheelchair. Um, I was 12. We went to Disney. We went to Busch Gardens. I don't know if you've ever been. This is
I've
kind
heard
of a
of Busch
shell.
Gardens.
Yeah, and we went to Universal Studios when I was 12. I think that's the I mean, I'm sure it's also American vacation, but something that Latin American people do is save up for like 5 years and then go to Disneyland with their kids so that they can see it. Or Disney, I don't know if it's World or Land. But yeah, we were one of those. And there's some pictures of me because I remember very vividly. This was right before I got super fat. So I was long and kind of chubby, but not obese yet.
Yeah.
And I remember that we got there and the heat, like it was so humid that we went to Walmart to get clothes. And there's photographic evidence of this. I'm walking around with like an 3XL Hanes shirt with like the buttons, and very like pajama pant shorts with flip flops all around Disneyland. And there's pictures of a large kind of Mexican boy, I guess, just
Yeah.
walking around like he's in his boxers in his living room. But
Well,
yeah,
that's the thing that we learned through your youth photos is you changed races maybe like every 3.5 years, where you go from a little white boy to a Puerto Rican child to a Chinese adult man. It's very peculiar how you age. Also, the same thing goes with Jerry. Jerry does look like the same ambiguous race as you in his like early teens or so, before
yeah,
he just like he looks like a black white guy, you know.
yeah,
Where he's got
yeah,
the
like an 80s black guy from a movie.
yeah, well,
Or
he
not
well
black, black.
he
It's
does go
just
from '80s to '90s dreadlocks, Rasta. I listen to what is it? Not Rage Against the
311.
Machine. Yeah, 311. Oh well. Uh, anyhow, I was thinking. You know what I was thinking? I was thinking Sublime, like a white guy that listens to Sublime. That's how he looked. Jerry,
Yeah,
good old Jerry. We got to get Jerry back on the show. I don't know what he's up to lately.
maybe
Seems
he's
like
like,
his life is out of order because I get messages from Twitch that say Bloom is now online. It used to be at like 12 midnight Eastern that we would see that. And now it's more like 5 a.m. Then
yeah.
it's 10 a.m. And Jerry, let me tell you what, Jerry's not getting up early. Jerry's been
And then you
awake.
you go to sleep, and then you wake up 8 hours later, and you go on Twitter, and Jerry tweets, "Great 16-hour stream." In bed. It's like Jesus, dude. What the fuck? How do you do that?
What is he
Yeah,
doing on these streams? I know he's got like a big role play thing that he's been doing.
I don't know.
I don't know
I thought
anything about
it's
that. It's a
it's
Dungeons and Dragons style game. He's going on these game shows where they're making bad jokes and they're trying to
oh
outshine
yeah.
him.
Oh yeah.
Unbelievable. Jerry deserved much more respect on that
What was that
program.
called? Uncle Tony or some bullshit?
It's
So
uh,
bad.
Uncle Tony's Happy Hour was the show, I think, on
Yeah.
twitch.tv/
Yep.
Uncle Tony.
Uncle
Hey, did you I mean, look, this is going to be look, hey, this is a reason to sign up for patreon.com/lowres, because now you're listening to this on iTunes or Spotify and you're thinking to yourself, wait a minute, the Oscars were like 2 weeks ago. Who cares about that? I'm on to what's happening after the Oscars. The Olympics, the Tokyo Olympics. That's what I care about.
Is that happening?
I care about my grandfather's wake is tomorrow night. I'm not thinking about the Oscars. Well, for those who are on patreon.com/lowers, we're doing this the night of the Oscars. So you should sign up. It helps Hans. We've had a good little surge of patrons. And also, we have a fundraiser going right now so we can finish our movie in a timely manner. Mass State Lottery. We want to get it done this year. We want to have a work print that is cut and ready to be shown to producers, to investors, to distributors. We want to get this movie out to the public. Head on over to well, actually, you can find the link anywhere. It's a complicated link to remember off the top of your head. It's a PayPal.me thing, but I'll tell you what, we'll include it in the description of this episode, so we'll cut corners that way. If you want to give anything at all, much appreciated. And the movie's going to get done no matter what. It's just a matter of hopefully we can get it done this year and make it look extra slick and maybe get some names involved. Maybe an Academy Award nominee involved. Yeah. Yeah, maybe. We might, look, that's going to happen. That's hopefully going to happen. We've already talked to one. And everything looks like it's a go. It's just going to be a money thing. So we need your help.
Yeah, we're trying to get Baghdad Ahdi. I couldn't even remember his fucking name. I'm the captain now, guy.
Louis Gossett Jr.
What was his name?
No, I'm the captain now. Captain Phillips. We're trying to get the Captain Phillips that the movie was based on.
Yes, the guy. Yep, Captain Phillip, the black guy from the. I never saw that. I never actually saw that movie, so I don't know. But him, the cab driver.
Here's what I remember about Captain Phillips is people were like, the movie looks boring, and yeah, I'm the captain now. It's whatever's a meme. But you got to see the last 5 minutes. Tom Hanks really deserves an Oscar for the last 5 minutes where he's brought into the medical room. And I saw that, and it's just Tom Hanks crying. And there's nothing spectacular about that. It's just him crying. Man, what a bunch of drama queens. A bunch of over-exaggerators.
Right. Is he emotional because he got black people around him? Why is he crying?
He went through an ordeal, He had his ship pirated.
So the ending of the movie is just him weeping about what he just went through?
He maintains his composure throughout the entire movie and then has a quiet cry in the last 5 minutes. And that's the reason why he was nominated for an Oscar. And he's Tom Hanks.
Thanks.
Yeah, look, Captain Phillips is okay, but it's one of those movies no one's ever going to go out of their way to watch if they see it on Amazon Prime or whatever. Much like many of the nominees from tonight, like Nomadland, the Best Picture winner. Now, I will say, there was something interesting that happened this evening that I kind of wish I was tuning in for that I did not expect. So all the the usual suspects wound up winning. Nomadland got Best Picture. Chloe Zhao wins Best Director.
Nomadland go Best. I haven't even looked at the list.
Yeah. No. I mean, it's been sweeping all the awards. Frances McDormand got Nomadland, the Best Actress win. Again, it's so tiresome. They just do they do the same thing every time. Anytime there's like a tired old lady nominated, she's gonna win. Period. But
I mean, she's a good actress. I understand that you want to do the right thing and maybe give it to her from performances that she had before where she maybe deserved it, but
she has no range.
Did you see Nomadland?
No.
Okay. It's like Into the Wild, but boring and without an ending. Because at least in Into the Wild, the guy, because of his own decisions, he dies, right? In this movie, you just have an old lady who works at Amazon in a warehouse, and then she gets into her little camper, and then she gets out of her little camper, and she has a cup of tea looking away, and then someone comes and talks to her, and then she goes back into her camper, and then she takes a nap, and then she wakes up, and at the same pace actually slower than this pace. So, yeah, I mean, I don't want to complain about the Oscars, but I'm not surprised that they just, yeah. I mean, I don't even know what's nominated this year, to be honest. Like, what a fucking who gives a fuck award show this is, really.
So here's what's interesting.
I didn't want to say that in the intro just because.
It's the truth. No one's going to be excited about it, especially 2 weeks after the fact, for the people who aren't signed up to the subscription on Patreon. But listen, this is an interesting year for the Oscars, if only because it is the first year since, let's see, let me go down to the bottom of the Wikipedia page. It's like the 1930s or 40s where, 1930s. The first year since 1932 into 1933 that this is a shared year for Oscars. So this is 2020 into 2021 because the lineup for 2020 was so poor that they decided, okay, well, we're just gonna grab the movies that were released within the 3 months into 2021.
No!
So
they did that.
It's a mesh year.
And that's the best they could get. That's terrible. Like those are the okay. I mean, again, I've seen
not many.
No.
I haven't seen too many of them either. I was not compelled to check out many of these films. I did think that Judas and the Black Messiah was a very well done movie, and that did get nominated for Best Picture. I don't think it won anything aside from Best Supporting Actor Daniel Kaluuya.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, we're bashing Lakeith Stanfield because he's a joke. He's not an actor. He's a cosplayer. He looks like a freak in that outfit that you sent me. He looks like a clown.
The onesie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Jaden Smith hair.
I can't believe they let him do that for Saint Laurent. He probably deserved that Oscar for that movie more than Daniel Kaluuya. But you take a look at the other nominations, and it's Sacha Baron Cohen for the Trial of Chicago 7.
Yeah, like I don't need to watch this just to. You can't cast Borat into a serious role and expect me to not expect him to say "not" right after his line. You know,
Yeah.
like I can't. Like his face looks too much like it. Just a fucking mustache away from Borat.
I think he greased the wheels. That's what I think, because Borat got nominated. It was treated as a serious film this year because they stuck it to the Orange Man at the last minute. They did it. They're the reason why he's not in office anymore, which is why you see Maria Baklava for the Best Supporting Actress nominee. That she didn't win. It wound up going to that older woman from Minari, because Asian hate crime, so they got to give it to
everything. Everything you're saying is just. It's like you're speaking Japanese to me right now. Like,
yeah.
What the fuck is Minari?
The only thing I'm excited about regarding this Oscar ceremony is to see how low the ratings plummeted. Because we saw, what was it, the Grammys or something?
Yeah.
Was it the Grammys or the Emmys, where they cut their audience in half in a year? Like they went from something like 16 million down to 8 million in a year. Outstanding.
Good. Great. Yeah. Hopefully people would stop giving these awards shows so much, importance. Especially when you go... I think that's the worst thing. When you go back and look at the movies that were selected as winners, just because of the way that Time has treated some of the losers, that you just know that people that are selecting these things are either clueless or they just have an agenda or something they're pushing, because there's so many movies that have won instead of other ones that are much better. And then you have this list of like really, no offense, especially when I've never made a movie myself, but who, I don't know. It's such a shitty year in every way. But I didn't know that they did that 3 months thing. That's so funny. It's so funny that the best that they could come up with was this.
Yeah. Yeah, because again, everybody was holding them over, I guess, anticipating that there was going to be a big run in 2021, and they knew that the 2020 lineup would be so poor on itself that they had to include it, those initial releases. And also, if you think about it, typically the Oscar nominees are released in late December and early January, but they get a 2-week screening or a 2-week run in LA or New York prior to that, so they can be eligible before they're open to the rest of the country. So obviously not a great whole lineup of movies here, or even performances. But on the note of performances, this is what is most interesting to me about the outcome of this Academy Award ceremony. So what was winning across the board? Nomadland was winning Best Picture. Chloe Zhao was winning Best Director. Frances McDormand was winning Best Actress. Daniel Kaluuya, Best Supporting Actor.
Promising Young Woman, Best Screenplay.
Well, hold on. We glossed over one category.
You went down? Sorry.
Best Actor. Who was winning Best Actor left and right? It was the late Chadwick Boseman.
I'm surprised they didn't do that signaling.
Well, they decided to give it to Anthony Hopkins for a movie that nobody watched, for a movie nobody saw, which is kind of shocking, kind of surprising.
Do you think they think he's gonna die, and they're like, let's give it to him before he dies?
I'm not sure. I mean, Chadwick Boseman did die, so you would think, okay, we'll do the Heath Ledger thing. Has anyone won an Oscar posthumously since Heath Ledger? Because I know before him it was the guy for Network. I forget his name. but I think his name's Peter or something. He
Think-
wound up passing away before being
Let's
given the
see.
award.
The last one. Oh shit! Hold on. What the fuck? 2007. Marit Allen won Best Costume Design.
No, it's 2000. It would have been the 2009 Oscars for Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger getting Best
Oh, right.
Supporting
Okay.
Actor.
Well, this is not in order. Hold on. Oh, here we go. Okay. 2020. Chat. That's
He
nominated.
didn't win. He didn't win.
Yeah. Gil Friesen in 2013 won for Best Documentary Feature.
Okay.
That's the last one. Yeah.
All right. Well,
And
that
before
doesn't even
that-
really count. That's a feature
Yeah, I
film.
know.
You know, plenty of people die during the making of movies.
So Heath Ledger, yeah. What's Ma Rainey's Black Bottom? That sounds
That
like
was a
an
Netflix movie. And
wow. Are we still nominating Netflix movies for Oscars? And I'm expecting to be taking this seriously.
that's their bread and butter at this point. Who's making all the commercial films with the big actors? Amazon and Netflix. So,
Uh,
and I guess Warner Brothers now. So, yeah, again.
You had a point, though. I think you had a point that I completely derailed you from.
No, I just think it's interesting that they would give it to Anthony Hopkins. I can't understand
right.
why they would do that.
He's won before, right?
Yeah, I believe so. If he hasn't won before, maybe it was like an overdue thing. But to do it the year where it seems like the general consensus is going toward one guy, it feels like Sean Penn beating Mickey Rourke. It feels like Mark Rylance beating Sylvester Stallone. But the difference here is, I didn't see that movie, and I have no investment in Chadwick Boseman winning an award, posthumously or not.
Yeah, who cares? I'm sorry, he was not a great actor. I don't care if he's dead or not. Just because someone dies doesn't make them good at their thing. Just because someone was nice when they were alive doesn't mean they were good at their thing.
Well, hold on. He wasn't bad. He wasn't a bad
He wasn't
actor
bad,
either. But was he deserving best? Would he have been nominated for best actor if he didn't die? Probably. Well, based on performance,
maybe.
Exactly that. Because the year was so chaotic and racially tense. Yes, he probably would have been nominated. But if this was 2014, no. No, as a matter of fact, I don't think a good portion of these would have been nominated. And you have to wonder yourself, what type of person is sitting down and going, wow, this means something? Not just a woman won, but a woman of color won. And this really makes a difference.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. This year was the first year in history, right? Where, what was it? 2 women of color or something were nominated for Best Picture or some shit. 2 women.
I guess
so. One of those things that don't matter, but people pretend that they actually matter at all.
Yes, it was 2 women and also 2 Asian American directors. And again, these are all useless, pointless, boring films that nobody actually cares about. They're all pretending to care about it for the sake of some sort of social grace. And the only movie that was, or rather the only director that deserved to be nominated in that category was Thomas Vinterberg for Another Round, which was a pleasant surprise. Here's the thing. Any other year, and if this was not like foreign in a European way, I think this would have been nominated for Best Picture and would have had a real shot at winning Best Picture. It did win Best International Picture. And to me, that's like, all right, well, that's the real Best Picture winner. And about to say that. And I think Vinterberg probably, if he did tally the votes, he probably got like second place or something. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe they would have gave it to Fincher or something because, he's got a lot of Hollywood clout. But if this was, based on any sort of real integrity and not being deathly petrified of the mob, then I think Vinterberg probably takes it.
Yeah, how dare they give the award to the one movie that had an interesting character that actually went through things and something happened. Yes. That seems to be like a rarity.
And also has morally gray lines to it, and it does not lead you to draw one conclusion or another about alcoholism or use of alcohol to enhance yourself socially or otherwise. That's another thing that makes Another Round such a strong movie as a whole. which is that. And also, you have all these characters, and they exhibit the different long-term effects that alcohol use, will inhabit in people. And obviously, for one, it takes a very grim turn, but that doesn't deter the others to quit permanently. Just take it easy, essentially.
I'm a huge fan of Mads Mikkelsen. I think he's great, even if the projects that he's in sometimes are not the best. Like, what was that called? Polar, I think it was the one where he's like.
Here seems to be the rule: is when Mads Mikkelsen is acting in an American film, it's going to be probably a 5 out of 10, and if he's acting in a European film, it's going to be one of the best movies that you've seen that year.
Yeah, he's great. So just by having him as the lead gets my attention, but it was like a genuinely good movie with, like you said, like a gray moral compass thing that keeps it interesting. I'm just so sick of movies about someone that is older trying to find themselves, and then they find themselves and nothing changes. And it's just, why would I sit for 2 hours to, like, who is this for? But other people that think that one day are going to do that, you know? So it's like, oh, I wonder if this would work out for me. Let me see if Frances McDormand got in and out of her camper for 2 hours. Ugh.
Great. Another way to look at it is if Mads Mikkelsen is speaking English in the film, it probably is not going to be a terrific movie.
A great movie.
Yeah. Anyhow, so did you wind up seeing Mank?
No.
Okay, good. Don't bother. Don't bother with that.
By the way, I know I was shitting on. Gotta take a pause here. Barkhad Abdi, but apparently he's on 10 episodes of Castle Rock. So hey, he's got work.
That's right. He plays an immigrant who moves to Castle Rock and is dealing with like social issues or something. I don't know. I think this had something to do with 2016's election. I'm pretty sure Castle Rock season 1 came or was in production and written
2018
before that.
Oh, maybe, yeah. It was released 2018.
Mm-hmm. So,
but now he's just doing, like, the director of his new movie is Neil Kumar. So I guess he's just now on that side of the world making movies. Good for him.
Neil Kumar.
Good for you.
I think he's probably taking work wherever he can get it. He was just in some movie. I think he was announced for something big recently. I know that they tried to make a push, like they were kind of trying to figure out how to apply him properly in movies right after he was nominated for Captain Phillips. He had that small role in Good Time where he plays a security guard, and then they just shoehorned him into Blade Runner, and it felt like in both cases like that they got him, and then when they realized the capability of his acting, they were like, shit. What he can't fucking pull off this whole thing. All right, let's shave his role down a little bit and apply him sparingly, especially in Blade Runner.
What if he just plays a pirate but in Blade Runner? What if he just plays a pirate but in Castle Rock? That's just gonna be him in every role. He's just a wild black man from an island.
Yeah, that's the gist of his career.
I mean, that's what he is, I guess. Yeah. I like seeing that. What's his name? Oh, never mind. I was about to say something horrendously racist without realizing what I was about to do. I was gonna say I'm glad to see that Harold from Harold and Kumar was nominated, but that's not the right Asian person. That's the guy from The Walking Dead, right? Steven Yeun.
That's not even close. That's
all right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good for what's the character's name in The Walking Dead? Nelson?
Glenn. Nelson, yeah. It's Glenn.
Good for Glenn. He's an Oscar-nominated actor now. Unfortunately, in a couple of years, that's just going to be worthless, but good for him now, I guess.
You think so?
Breaking that barrier. I mean, it's already lost some prestige, I think.
Oh, no. It has lost a lot of prestige.
Yeah.
I assure you that. But whether or not they choose to continue to undergo this tradition, this ceremony, and act like it matters, I mean, if they keep doing it, it's entirely possible that it'll come back around and actually score some relevance in the future, depending on some of the moves they make.
I think they should uh, cancel them for a couple of years so that people care again. Because, well, I mean, we have to see the ratings for this year,
I
but
would suspect it's going to be extremely low.
I believe that I don't know, like who are the Oscars for? Like who is still excited and still watching the Oscars and you know making it the event that it used to be 10 years ago where you would get some friends together and you would have party games if you're that type of gay watcher. You would have party games, you would have food, you would have, a party with your friends and you would bet on the movies and whatever. Now, like, I don't, I mean, obviously because of the pandemic, but I don't see that happening, not just because the movies are whatever, but also because it's lost some of the event feeling that it had before. It was like a Super Bowl for movie nerds, I think, where you would just sit there and, maybe you were not into all of the movies, but at least just watching that happen was like an event. And I think that's not really a thing anymore. So
Right.
I don't know if in a couple of years, people are just going to stop caring about that, especially with streaming being bigger than movie theaters in the short-term future at least. I don't think people will care so much about which movie won the Oscar. I'm going to watch that one when there's so much content.
I feel like something has to take its place for it to really die, though. That's the thing is I don't think you can really do away with award ceremonies. So maybe if they started televising like the Berlin Awards or like Sundance or Cannes. I mean, Cannes would probably be maybe.
That's fucking snottier, even snottier.
But at least there you're getting a higher caliber of film that's nominated.
Yeah.
They're not fucking. I don't think anyway that Cannes is going out of its way to stress as heavily anyway as the members of the Academy when it comes to the award nominations, because you do have so many entertainers who are looking at this because they're opportunists, and I mean honestly, rightfully so. If you have an opportunity to get even like a superficial fake Oscar nomination in the real ceremony, by just tweeting like, how come there's no Asians in this category?
Yeah.
Why wasn't I nominated? And then they're like, I'm sorry. All right, you're gonna get Best Supporting Actress this year because we're not look, we hear you, we see you. You're nominated. We're gonna give it to you. Please don't attack us anymore.
We are sorry, Ray Fisher. You're the best black
Ray
actor
Fisher
ever.
will get Best Supporting Actor
we're gonna,
2021. Yes.
We're going to remake 12 Years a Slave and have you played Ever Slave. You are the best, Ray.
I'm hyped to see his Oscar nomination speech where he says accountability is greater than art, and then they all stand up and clap, and it'll be a wonderful moment. I do wonder. I think the Snyder Cut might have a shot. If they keep it strictly to 2021, which would be the first year.
You think they would ever do that though?
Yes.
I don't know.
Not for. I don't think for Best Picture. I think technical
Special
categories.
Effects.
Yeah.
Yeah. Costumes.
I wouldn't even say it's unrealistic.
Sound design.
To get Best Director nomination.
I think it's unrealistic.
I think I might be hopeful in thinking that, but I don't think it's totally unrealistic. I don't think so. Because there's so much hype around Zack Snyder the man.
Zack Snyder has biceps. You cannot be a director with biceps in modern Hollywood because he's misogynistic. So, no. Especially if he wears tight shirts to show his muscles. That's never going to roll. So, I think you're hopeful, and I think that's your dream.
You couldn't imagine that happening. You couldn't imagine that happening after they nominated Joker.
No, with Justice League, no, because Joker was a somber look at this thing, and it was like mental health and blah blah blah, all that bullshit.
It was a real
Zack
movie.
Zack Snyder's Justice League is his fantasy and his vision and whatever, but I don't think that the Academy is ready to lower their standards, I want to say, in that way, in that sense, to nominate a superhero movie. Because then after this, let's say that fucking Suicide Squad is really funny, So then it's gonna be like, well, now we have one superhero movie, so now which one's the more virtuous that we can nominate to do the same thing? But now, hey, it's superheroes because now that's never gonna happen. I don't think there's enough young people. Like if they haven't done that, or if they didn't do that with comedy when comedy movies were huge, I don't think that would happen with superheroes either.
Listen. I know I'm being a little optimistic here, but I do disagree with you because it seems like the next Oscar ceremony isn't going to cover 2 years. It'll be the first one that covers 2021 from March into December. So they're going to have 2 bites at the apple. So you're going to have less competition, first of all. Second of all, that's probably been, even though HBO Max is saying, oh, Kong vs. Godzilla was a bigger movie, that might be so. I'm skeptical. I think they need an excuse to cut him out and have that make sense and not piss off a whole lot of people who might be in the middle. So, again, they don't release their numbers officially. There's no way to verify that. It's the same thing as when Netflix tells you what's trending. Hey, what's the most watched? Is it their new movie they dumped $20 million into? $100 million into?
Ratchet is the most watched show in the history of streaming. It's like, really? That one?
Disney says there's 150 million people watching Mulan. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure there is. Sure there are.
Yeah. I'm looking at 2021 releases, and you know what? Maybe. Just like, you know what? Yeah, what's there?
It's still a stripped down year, and I guarantee you, by the time we hit December, there's going to be more movies, yeah. But the way that this year started, and the amount of momentum that film maintained, and just like it being a kind of cultural moment for a year where everybody's locked down, especially for movies, it made people feel excited about movies and about auteurship in a way that I don't think any other director has mustered that kind of energy around it. I think it's possible.
Okay, I don't know if anyone but you, Robbie Goodwin, and Nick Aldershot will use that word to describe him.
He's an auteur. If you watch one of his movies, you know it's a Zack Snyder film. That's all auteur means. It doesn't have to be anything classy about it.
I agree. I called him modern day Kubrick. So
yes, you did.
Who am I to judge? I just don't think anyone will use those words together. That's it. Besides the three of you.
I don't know. It got positive reviews. Many of the critics who scoffed at his earlier films did have at least something positive to say about the fact that we were seeing a singular vision for one of these giant movies. So, again, I think it's unlikely, not impossible.
I mean, your prediction of Borat was wrong.
It was half right.
One out there.
I prefer half right because it did get serious nominations. It just didn't win.
Right.
It did win Golden Globes.
Did it?
Yeah.
That's sad.
Yes,
that's really sad.
I believe it won multiple Golden Globes. So that was not too big of a stretch. I did think the Trial of the Chicago 7 was going to get more than it wound up getting. And that would have been their Borat surrogate for Sacha Baron Cohen. But it doesn't seem like that was the case. It might have gotten some technical category. What one? Screenplay.
The women one.
Oh, promising young woman.
Yeah.
Wow, they will give that to anything. And The Father.
Yeah.
How unexciting.
Yeah. 2021 is not looking good, if I'm going to be honest.
Are you looking at films to come?
I'm looking at most anticipated movies, and it's there's a Ben Wheatley movie that's interesting. The guy that did Kill List, High Rise. I don't know if you've seen that. That's fun. But then after that, it's a Guy Ritchie, Jason Statham movie. You got that Spiral movie that I have no hope for. That Chris Rock Saw related movie. For whatever reason, that just I don't know. Like Army of the Dead, which fine. That's
so
Cruella.
Double Oscar nominations for Zack Snyder this year.
Yeah, there's that movie that Disney thought it would be a good idea to make a biography about a woman that likes to kill puppies and make them into coats. So that's coming out.
Wasn't her big thing that she smoked? She smoked with a cigarette holder, and you can't do cigarettes in movies anymore.
Oh shit, that's true.
That I think the original
even that.
live action 101 Dalmatians was the reason for that, because it was a kids movie and she was smoking, and people thought, oh, she's going to be a bad influence on our kids.
She was killing puppies. But what?
I know.
Smoking
Yeah.
is worse than killing a
Trying
dog
to
and
build a good
making
jacket.
clothes out of it. The Quiet Place Part 2. Who cares? The Conjuring Part 3. Who cares?
Sequels.
The Hitman's Wife, Bodyguard. That just sounds horrendous. Peter Rabbit 2. That's cool.
There's a Peter Rabbit 1. What's the story of Peter Rabbit 2? I think they kind of concretely close the tail up in the fable.
It says, first the garden, then the world. The plot for the sequel to The Surprise, loosely based on the work of Beatrix Potter, is still under... Okay, so they don't know. But I guess they're trying to do the same thing they did with Paddington, right?
Right.
Where they just grabbed that franchise and turned it into like a successful thing. You have another Purge movie. You have the Black Widow movie. You have Cinderella, Space Jam.
Space Jam. Are you excited for Space Jam after LeBron James tried to sick the public on some cop that saved a girl?
No, I wasn't excited about Space Jam to begin with. Jungle Cruise. That's a movie from The Rock. That's cool.
That's a Disney ride, right?
Yep. There's a Hotel Transylvania 4. Suicide Squad. Yeah, I'm upset that you might be right.
It sounds like any other year. And I can tell you right now, the directing in each one of those movies is not going to be as unified and non-committee driven as Zack Snyder's Justice League. So I stand by my prediction that there's an outside shot of it. If I had to, gun to my head, probably not. No, I don't think so. But I don't think it's impossible.
Dune.
I have a feeling Dune's going to bomb.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those movies that, like the original Dune, is too big to fail. So I suspect, and especially Denis Villeneuve is due for a flop. He's had too good of a run. Tenet is probably like the closest thing Christopher Nolan has had to a flop. So
do you think that had more to do with the theater issue, or do you just... I still haven't seen it, but do you think that was the issue, or do you think that the movie was just not as good as his other movies?
I think the theater thing is definitely an issue, and also the fact that he comes across as a snob. I think people don't like, especially nowadays where they just sit around on their fat asses and watch Netflix all day, and it's literally like Ryan Murphy shit. They don't like the kind of director who's like, no, I want you to see my movie in IMAX. And you know what? It's going to be shot on IMAX cameras and 35 millimeter, and we're going to do it this way and that way. And
it'll be loud as fuck.
I'm going to do the sound my way, and you're not going to hear everything, and some of the audio is going to be a little muffled, yes, but that's part of the sound design of it, and that's just what we're going to do. People don't really seem to respond to that as much outside of our collective circle, but especially not in the case of a filmmaker who has built like billion-dollar franchises. Somebody like Christopher Nolan, does he have a style that warrants a lot of that? He's kind of sterile,
Yeah.
Early Christopher Nolan, you can make a case for. I think as soon as he gets into the Batman movies, whatever style he had changes into something a bit more commercial. Not necessarily even in a bad way, but it just feels like you've lost something. You've lost the texture that was there for, what was it? Memento, Insomnia, those early films. But
now I'm looking up this list. Chloe Zhao is directing Eternals.
Yeah, there's a Marvel property she's directing.
That's such an odd choice. I'm not familiar with her movies, but just by looking at the covers, they look like very small, very character driven, like Nomadland. Songs My Brother Taught Me doesn't sound like a blockbuster, and The Rider, which is got a guy and a horse in the cover, don't sound like a blockbuster. That I don't know. That's an odd one, especially with the Eternals that deals with like gods and shit, right?
She's only been a director for 5 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so she has to. All right, my assumption here, because she started out with Kino Lorber, which is kind of a niche distributor that acquires like elitist style films, you know, kind of like a Criterion. And then she goes to Sony Pictures Classics. She comes for money. She has to have some money behind her.
It's too big of a jump. I mean, I guess Nomadland is an Oscar winner now, but that just seems like such an odd choice for a huge movie that's supposed to be in space. I'm not very familiar with Eternals. I just know that there's 4 of them and they're giant and they're like big, like robot monster things. But I don't know. That's an odd choice there. I'm kind of interested, not as much as I was with what's her name, Patty Jenkins and Wonder Woman 84. That was great. Hopefully, it will be a train wreck like that. That would be interesting. You know, someone that just doesn't know what the fuck they're doing, and it's just let's just do this thing and make it as wild as possible.
It seems like they're trying to like groom her into being the next Ava DuVernay. You know, the woman who directed Selma, who
Women of Color director. Yeah,
right. Except her lack of talent became very obvious, I think, quickly, and this woman still has some potential, I guess, because she's directed a few movies. She's got this big. Eternals is the one with Kumail, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Jesus! If there was one Marvel movie I wish I could erase from history before it even releases, it would be this one. I just hope it never comes out. He's somebody.
Oh, shit.
He's probably the least tolerable person. He's been the most enduring as far as like the Me Too warriors who try to poo-poo everybody and act as the morality on Twitter. Nobody has come for his head yet, but it'll happen soon. They're going after Seth Rogen now. I think it's just a matter of time. People get sick of that. People don't like that. Even people who are on the side of that are like, well, why are you being the figurehead of this? You straight man with very artificial biceps.
I'm sorry. I made the mistake of going to Ava DuVernay's IMDb. She's producing. So there's this comic book series called DMZ. That's about like kind of like apocalyptic type of thing with like a civil war that breaks out in like future America. So Manhattan becomes like a military zone or whatever. Mm-hmm. The series is cool. It has really cool art, but like I knew they were doing. I didn't know that she was like a main person in it. So now the interest that I had for it is completely. I mean, it was obviously not that much before because I didn't know, but yeah. Also, the main name in the cast is Benjamin Bratt.
Wow.
Which is worrying, yeah.
That's very 2002, Benjamin Bratt. Holy shit, that's a name I haven't heard of in a minute. I thought he was doing like Lifetime dramas.
Yeah, so that sucks. So another Ava DuVernay project that...
She got kicked off, what was the DC project? They were going to do the Apocalypse movie. It was something Gods. I don't know. I'm not that familiar with the...
Maybe it's the Eternals.
No. It sounds kind of like the Eternals, though, similar to that, but the DC equivalent. And they just canceled it because of Zack Snyder, because he used Darkseid. She was set to New Gods. She was set to helm New Gods, and it was going to be all that cosmic space shit. And now it's off the menu. So thank you, Zack Snyder.
It says that she turned down Black Panther to direct that, and now that's not happening.
Oh, poor gamble.
Yeah. Good. I'm sorry. I don't like when people that don't have that much talent are elevated just because of what they look like. Like, I think that's bullshit. And like I understand that you need representation or whatever, but pick the ones that are talented. Know the people that have nothing to say, that have just been successful because they've been successful. And then they don't really present anything interesting or don't really give the real voice of that voice that they're supposed to be given. So at the end of the day, you have a sanitized thing that was approved by white people with a face that's not white.
Correct. So like how many of these directors that are elevated and are toted out as the like this is the voice of Asian Americans or Black Americans actually come from an extremely affluent background and either have wealthy parents or were adopted by like some movie producer when they were young, and were funneled through the best schools, went to film school, and had their life essentially catered to be this figurehead. I would say a great deal of them.
Yeah, most of them.
Most of them.
Mostly, if not all, because that's the thing. What you can really tell when a real voice is telling you a story, and when you have a committee of just a bunch of white people that just picked a figurehead to be the face of, like that show that we were talking about the other day. What's the show called? The Black. What do they call it? Violent pornography or whatever the fuck it was. What was that show called? Them? Is it?
Them, right. What we were talking about during the physical media episode with Jake.
Yeah. There, you look at the producers list, and there's 2 black people in it, and then a bunch of just white people. So you can tell that, okay, I understand that producers help to get money or whatever, but at the end of the day, when you have 5 white hands and 1 black hand, do you really think that the real voice of that black person is going to be heard? No. That's why all of these fucking shows that just have people like Jordan Peele, people like that are just, the voice that you're going to get there is not different than, what's his name? Landis kid. What's his name?
Max Landis.
Max Landis. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's just presented slightly different. But it never feels genuine. It never feels like it's actually coming from that place. It's just sanitized and easy for other white people to digest, and that's it.
Yeah, right. So again, it all comes back to what we were talking about before.
Yeah.
I'm not. I mean, unfortunately, I'm a fan of Spike Lee, but even if you take a look into his history, he does not wind up where he is without strategic backing from people like Martin Scorsese early on, or going to NYU and making connections through his background. So you can find this. You can turn over any rock and you'll find that. Quentin Tarantino, he's not a case in the diversity sense, but there's a lot of gray and mystery as to how he got hooked up with Harvey Weinstein. And the fabled tale of, I was working at a video store and then I sold my script and now I'm a big time hotshot director. Well, there's some gaps there. You could get away with telling those stories back in the 90s when people didn't know any better. You could tell a very outrageous and nowadays like clearly fake story, and half the people would go along with it. They would believe it because there was no way to verify this or that, or actually piece things together in your head as easily because of outside knowledge that you would have. And now that doesn't fly. Now we can find out pretty quickly if you come from money, if you've been gifted this career of yours. And oftentimes I think it'll show in the art itself. And look, I don't really care if somebody is gifted a career in filmmaking or does have help with money, as long as they're making something interesting. But what we're seeing is these movies aren't interesting. These movies suck. So, it's a waste.
The problem is, I think they just have to stay like independent, I guess, because I guess it's a very recent example that I don't know if I should be using because he's only made 1 movie, but if you grab someone like Brandon Cronenberg, right? He's made 2. He's made 2 films. Oh, right, true. Well, I haven't seen the first one, but he's doing interesting things that kind of maybe. I don't know if he's trying to do a little bit of like the weirdness that his dad used to do just because of his name, but at least with Possessor, it seemed very different than most of the sci-fi that's out right now, and he's one that he could just coast with his dad's name and not try to do anything different or anything new. But that's like someone that I will be interested in seeing what his filmography will be throughout the years, just because he started in such an interesting way, I guess. But yeah, most people that are gifted careers or that have a name that's recognizable, you look at their shit and it's very safe. It's like they're playing movies, It's like I'm playing how to make a movie, and then I'm gonna make this movie. I don't really care about learning why this shot looks like this, or why this angle is used here, or what the director is trying to say with this camera angle, or this performance, or this, whatever that you study if you're a movie nerd. This is just my little toy that I'm going to make because I have money, and then it shows in the movie at the end of the day.
And also on Zhao's Wikipedia page, because we're just doing a quick background on her, since we don't know a whole lot. Her father was a top executive at one of the country's largest steel companies in China. So there you go. She also went to school in England and also in America.
The struggle.
Yeah.
It's real.
So
yeah.
Well.
Yeah, that's the voice that you that's my biggest issue. Why do you elevate that voice that doesn't need elevating? They have everything they need right now. Go and get a fucking guy that's doing it like us, independently. That's, everything is out of pocket, and they're trying to say something without playing to the restrictions that modern day filmmaking gives you with content and dialogue and the words you use and all that shit. But instead, they just elevate the most boring fucking milquetoast, just have nothing to say, lived through nothing.
Here's what I think is interesting. I think it's interesting that this woman, who clearly comes from a background of luxury and high education, decided to make the movie Nomadland, which was about a poor Amazon worker, right, who lives out in the countryside. That seems like something she would be pretty well versed in. Look, I'm not trying to say that somebody like that couldn't make a great and also authentic movie about that subject matter, but interesting, just interesting.
I don't know. I just think that maybe the person that has actually worked there might have a better idea of how that goes.
But does that person exist? Like that's the thing too. I know you could grab like any given white trash director who came out of wherever and made something of themselves. Like off the top of my head, who's somebody like that? Maybe a Richard Linklater, But I mean, I could imagine what his Nomadland would probably look like. But does that actually appeal to that type of person? Harmony Korine's Nomadland. That could be good.
Harmony Korine's Boyhood.
I'd watch that.
That would be more interesting. Yeah. How long was Boyhood again?
That was only a 2-hour movie. But now, you know what? Now, especially,
it felt long.
It seems less impressive to me. And I'll tell you why. It's like, all right, so when they marketed it as like it was shot over 12 years. Well, correct. That's correct. You're right. I'm not going to poo-poo that. But what's the difference between that and just shooting one short film a year with the same cast? It's the same thing. Is that really a noble effort? I mean, it's interesting. The movie's not interesting. The movie's
especially when you don't have a fucking story to go with it other than, oh, he's growing up. Great. Oh, I'm going to cast a guy. Well, I mean, I guess he could have known that he was
that kind of project
boring.
Seems doomed to fail also, because if let's say you write a full screenplay in, I don't know, just this year, right? You write and you're infatuated with it. You love the idea of it, and you're going to shoot it over 12 years. Well, 6 years from now, you might revisit that screenplay and go, oh fuck, this sucks. This is awful. I got to change it. Oh God. And then you might change it. And then 3 years after that, you might go, damn, okay, well, I kind of missed out on something here with this part of it. Maybe I should integrate this that I skipped out on into this part that we're about to shoot. And then you might wind up with a mess after 12 years. And I think a lot of Boyhood winds up being, it doesn't seem like it's driven by anything.
Yeah. It's just going along because it's happening. And then it happens, and then it ends, and it happened. That was my biggest issue with it, that fine, you have a gimmick with it, but then do something with that gimmick. Not just, we're going to see them get old, and then they just show up looking shittier and shittier and shittier, and that's it. It's like, good, and now it ended, and now they're at the beach, and he's staring at the water, and then we fade to black, and he's like, did I really just spend 2 hours of watching this guy just grow and nothing happens?
Effectively, no difference between that movie And if you took one episode of the Joe Rogan Experience per year since it's been airing online and strung that together into a movie, it's the same exact thing.
Yeah, they start in Red Band's apartment, right? When they have these little shitty cameras.
Yeah.
And then little by little, you see how they're improving. Their studio looks different. I remember that a year they had like neon lights in like this shitty living room that they were in. And the cameras were very close to their face. And then, yeah. But maybe, I don't know. Maybe we learned something with Joe Rogan's podcast that we didn't learn with fucking Boyhood. Because, nothing happens. I mean, I don't know what we're talking about this movie that came out. How long ago? 10 years ago?
No. It wasn't even that long ago. It lost. I was thrilled when Boyhood lost. I love that it lost, especially to Birdman, because I enjoyed Birdman quite a bit. I thought that was a good movie. A lot of people have soured to Birdman. They think it's kind of an Oscar bait movie. I disagree with that. I loved it when I saw it in theaters. I went to go see it in theaters twice. And then it got nominated for Best Picture. And I'll tell you what, haven't really watched it since, probably because of that, subconsciously because of that. I think winning Best Picture kind of dooms you a little. In this day and age, it dooms you a bit. Back in the 70s, 80s, you win Best Picture. Cool. All right. It's not really going to change my perception of the movie. Everything changed after Crash. After Crash won, it means something different now.
The Spotlight did it for me.
Well, Spotlight especially. Spotlight is
haven't seen...
It's the definitive bland, styleless message film. It's entirely, look what we did. We may not have stopped the molestations, but we pointed the finger at some priests.
They might still be happening 10 years later, but listen, one priest got caught, so we're going to make a whole boring movie about it that is visually, who gives a fuck, that dialogue-wise is who cares.
Mark Ruffalo's going to get worked up in one scene. He's going to look real sweaty, and his teeth are going to look round like a Simpsons character, and it's going to be the best movie of the year.
Hey, do you want to make molestation boring? Watch. That's the thing with Crash. I remember seeing it when it first came out, but I had no recollection of it just because I haven't seen it since. So I know that a lot of people hate it, but I don't like. I have no interest in rewatching it. But Spotlight, I just remember being pissed off when that movie ended, and I had just watched that because I was expecting it to get better, and at no point it does that. So after that, I was like, all right, well, if the people that are making these decisions think that this is better than anything else, then why am I paying attention still?
Right. I don't know. It is what it is. I mean, you take a look at, I'm just looking at the list of Best Picture winners right now, and I really do think it started to go downhill after the 1970s. Probably after 1984. Because you have Amadeus that wins Best Picture in 84. In Terms of Endearment is the year before that. Out of Africa. I know that's a classic boomer film, but
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah,
what did it beat?
It's I don't know what it beat. 1985. 1985 was probably not that spectacular of a year. Sidney Pollack, Meryl Streep, Robert Redford. Platoon wins 86. I think Platoon's a very good movie. Dances with Wolves, Driving Miss Daisy, Rain Man, The Last Emperor, Unforgiven. Yeah, the 90s is also a mess. The 90s is really where it starts to kick into message films and like bland, like mid-budget commercial releases, like Forrest Gump.
Dances with Wolves won 7 Oscars. What the fuck? Best Picture. What did it beat? That's what I wanted to check. 91.
I think that was the last time Hopkins won the Academy Award. Till now.
Yeah, with Silence of the Lambs. No, wow. Jeremy Irons won for Reversal of Fortune.
Really? He beat Anthony Hopkins? So has
Anthony Hopkins is not nominated. It was him, Jeremy Irons, Gerard Depardieu for Cyrano de Bergerac, Richard Harris for The Field, which I've never heard of.
Did he win for Elephant Man?
Who? Anthony Hopkins?
Yeah, Anthony Hopkins.
Hopkins won for Silence of the Lambs. I just don't know what year it was. It wasn't this one.
It was 1991. 30 years ago.
No, that's the one that I'm looking at right now, 91.
So, no. Okay, so the 1991 Oscars would have been 1992.
Okay. Yeah, so I was just curious to see what Dances with Wolves beat because I just remember being really bored by that thing. Um, oh, Dick Tracy was nominated for Oscars. That's pretty cool.
For what? For technical or for real ones?
Cinematography, best costume design,
Ah,
best art direction.
nah.
Cinematography is pretty.
Cinema. That's the closest one to an actual category. But
Yeah.
Suicide Squad won best art design or something, or costumes.
God, Joe Pesci. Where the
People,
fuck?
hey, have you noticed people are shitting on Kramer versus Kramer a lot lately?
No.
I don't. Maybe I've just
Other
noticed
than
that in my
you.
feed. Hey, I like
Did
Kramer.
you
I
notice
think
that on your joke?
I like Kramer versus Kramer. Yeah, I noticed it in my own tweet feed. Uh, no, Kramer versus Kramer is a very good movie, but
Hold on.
people
I'm
were
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
shit
I'm sorry. I'm
talking it.
sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Dick Tracy. Hold on. This is a three Oscar winner movie. How did I not know about this when we were
Because
three
look, the
Oscars?
nominations there aren't prestigious. People don't.
Makeup, music, art
Those are
direction.
things
Yeah.
that are certainly valid and deserve to have award ceremonies around them. But I mean, in the just how perception goes, people don't really care about it. Something's
Um,
only real and a legitimate thing until people care about it,
did you
or
also
once
know that
people care about it.
City Slickers is an Oscar
Yes, I think that was
winner?
nominated for Best Picture, wasn't it? And Jack
Mm,
Palance, I think, might have won.
Jack Palance. Yeah, that's the one that won. Or Ben Kingsley, Harvey Keitel, and Tommy Lee Jones.
That's because he was about
Uh,
to die.
fucking City Slickers.
Yeah,
Barton Fink. Anyway,
yeah.
yeah, fuck you. Oscars. Oh, that's what Wolf beat. That's why I was like, I remember it beating something big. It beat Goodfellas, which is yeah. That's the exact reaction. Yep, exactly. Yep, that is the reaction that I would
A
expect to
mistake. Oh
Dances with
Jesus.
Wolves beat Goodfellas for Best Picture. Does anyone talk about Dances with Wolves still?
No, I think a lot of people are comfortable with that being a Best Picture winner. I don't think Kevin Costner really proved himself after the fact. It seemed like they were eager to throw these giant epics at him in the years following that. I know Waterworld is one of the all-time great flops. You know, so
Which is not that bad.
no, yeah. I
It's
mean,
it's bad, but it's not.
it was it
Like
was it was just one of those movies where they put a lot of money into it and it took forever and then it failed. Like what I'm
yeah,
expecting with Dune.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Too big of a concept for it to work in like a. I mean, he is making them long, right?
Typically, yeah. I think Postman Always Rings Twice. Was that his movie? That was a long one. I might have the title confused there. And then,
You're talking about Kevin Costner?
yeah, Kevin Costner. Or the Post. No, sorry, the Postman. Just
Postman.
the
Yeah.
Postman. That was another
Well, he didn't.
long, boring
He,
one.
he didn't direct Waterworld. He
No?
was just producer. No,
Okay, well, he still shares the
Waterworld.
blame for that.
Waterworld. What fucking? I remember they
I
told
can't
me.
imagine showing up to the theater to see a Kevin Costner led film, and people did that for a while.
Yeah, well, he had a good run in the 90s, right? You got JFK, you got Dances with Wolves, you got Wyatt Earp,
He's
The
good in
Body.
JFK. He's good in The Bodyguard, but
I don't think he's a bad actor. Just when I just think that lately, eh, yeah,
I look. He's just not the type of person that I think should be leading movies. There's nothing
yeah,
there. It'd be like showing up to see a Bill Pullman led film.
he's in that category like that, or I put him in the same one as uh, Matthew Broderick or um, the other guy that kind of looks like him that are interchangeable. Why is my memory so shit today? I mean, as opposed to, you know, um, all right, he plays Superman's dad, right?
Yes, he does. That's the last time he does anything really noteworthy. I know he had a football movie that also starred Tom Welling from Smallville, and that did not perform well. So he seems
Jack
like
Ryan.
he seems like he would be well applied in a supporting role. Kind I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Kevin Costner is just very boring.
Yeah,
He's a good
I
actor. He's just void of any character.
I prefer Greg Kinnear. Give me a Greg Kinnear anytime for this guy.
Greg Kinnear is a
Even
bit,
though
though. You can't apply Greg Kinnear as just in any role. I feel like the boringness of Kevin Costner makes him more versatile, where he could play a lawyer, he could play someone's kind dad, or someone's mean stepdad. He's kind of got
right.
like a less animated John Travolta thing going on.
I don't know if I've ever seen him playing anyone mean, but I believe you.
Yeah, I don't know
He's
if he
always
has,
played
actually,
like the dad
a
or
noble
like the
character, a noble man.
yes, yeah, a guy that doesn't really smile that much, but he's good inside.
Exactly. Yeah, and if you take a look at the early aughts, A Beautiful Mind, Chicago, Gladiator, these are not particularly special movies. They're very of the time. I think in the middle you do kind of you get a couple of good ones in there. I think No Country for Old Men is a solid pick. The Hurt Locker was actually a very good movie. Departed is look. Does The Departed deserve that? That seems like an apology to Scorsese for not giving him Goodfellas. I like The Departed. Is it a Best Picture worthy, film? Probably not. It's a fun movie.
It's an enjoyable Scorsese movie. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the last time that Jack Nicholson is really fun in a movie before he gets too old.
Why you didn't like Bucket List?
I think he's all right in Bucket List. Bucket List isn't bad, but
yeah,
it's not. It's it's not up there.
Did you cry?
I didn't. No, I didn't cry.
Did you get emotional with Bucket List when he revealed his little coffee cup full of ashes that he left in the mountain at the end of the movie?
I didn't even remember that, to be honest with you. I watched it on like TBS or something on TV.
I went to the theater because I wanted to see
Big
old
Morgan
Jack
Freeman
Nicholson.
fan. Oh,
yeah. No, I want to see Jack. So it's like I haven't seen him in a while. I'm sure he's all fat and shitty now, and he was. So it's just like, great, yeah. Just
was
old.
He was something like 75 or something when that came out. So
I wonder what he's doing now.
Eating.
Like I wonder what his mind state is. Like, I wonder if he's just gone and he's just like being a rich baby.
Yeah. I've heard mixed.
Every photo I've seen of him is just him being a rich baby on the beach or something.
I've heard his brain is gone. If I had to guess, I don't think it's fully gone. I think there's probably a reason why he stopped acting. Unfortunately, he's probably like Joe Biden.
Yeah,
that's how I imagine him. Maybe a little worse than Joe Biden.
So, he's 84. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's old.
I mean, it's better that he's not in movies too, because I wouldn't want to see them just. I wouldn't want to see Hollywood do Captain Spaulding with him, where you just wheel him out and he looks like he's one step away from the grave, just so that he can be on screen or have that name. Like, that was fucked up. When I saw that in that movie, I was like, dude, just let him die. Like, this is worse. This is making it worse,
Yeah.
So fine, retire, be fat, and enjoy the company of young women, which is what he always seems to be doing whenever a photo comes out of him.
From what I know, he's still going to like Lakers games with his son, who looks a whole lot like him. But I mean, who knows what his mental state is? I know he was supposed to do, and I think I brought this up on the Perfume Nationalist episode we did, where he was supposed to do Tony Erdmann, a remake of Tony Erdmann, the foreign film, where he was going to play the lead character in that, and Lena Dunham was going to write the screenplay and maybe direct. I'm not sure. And then I think one of them wound up dropping out, and then the project just kind of collapsed. And that was about 2016, 2017. So I think he might be open to. We might see him one more time before that's a wrap.
Mass State Lottery. Is that what we're saying? Go donate to the PayPal. Is that what we're?
That's the Academy Award winner we're talking to get involved.
Dude. Can you imagine? Oh wow, he looks like that now. All right. I mean, I guess he looks the same. He looks the same as he's looked like for the past 20 years.
No, he's a little less shapely. I think he's expanded a bit and he looks messier. From what I've seen, from the recent photos I've seen of him.
He looks great. I want.
He looks like how you'd want to feel at 85.
Yes, that's it. I think that's why what I'm enjoying so much, and I'm like, this would be me if I was if I was ever successful. Yes, I would be eating French fries and a burger in a public place and not giving a fuck. So good for him. He got away. I'm sure he got away with a lot of shit that he could never get away with now. Like, I'm sure those Me Too's will be coming if he was 20 years younger.
Oh yeah, dude. He lended Polanski his apartment for the infamous incident. So it's quite miraculous. Nobody has mentioned that at any point or tried to use that as a campaign to harass senile Jack Nicholson. I don't know. I would like to see him come out one more time if he has the ability. Because again, if it's a Captain Spaulding thing, where it's really obvious the dude is like physically unwell and literally dies during production, that's not a way to go. That's bad. That's not how someone should be passing away. A Jim Varneying, if you will.
Well, especially when it's a sequel to, so we've seen what he looks like.
What if it's the Flash? What if it's the new Batman movie with Michael Keaton? They bring him back and the Joker's really fat. No. They try to like slim him. It's gonna be like The Irishman, where they try to disguise his age and his fat. They'll try and slim him down.
But he just wobbles.
He's gonna look like the Penguin in Batman Returns.
Fuck, that would. Yeah, I mean, why not? Well, fuck it, why not?
If he's gonna do one more.
Yeah, why not? They're doing that thing where they're bringing everyone back, then fuck it, why not? Just have him say we live in a society or something. Complete the meme before he dies. Good for Jack, though. Good for him. I'm sure he's living it up at 84.
Yeah, maybe. But what is living it up at 84?
I don't know. Not shitting yourself every day, I guess. I don't know. Waking up.
I just Googled his name, and there's actually a recent headline about him from GossipCop.com. Jack Nicholson's 350-pound crisis.
Oh, they're just calling him fat.
And there's a photo of him looking very mean and aggressive on the court with food in the corner of his mouth, and it is very unflattering. I wish we could show this to the patrons that are watching this right now, but I have a feeling it was taken the same day as the photo you sent. Actually, no, maybe not.
Yeah, I think he just wears that all the time. I don't know, but yeah, he looks some barbecue sauce running the side of his lip, and he's very upset. I mean, he lived through some very bad Laker years, so I get it. I get it. I guess, but yeah, good for Jack. Fuck it, live it up. Why not?
Here's the headlines. Little what's the word I'm looking for? Whatever, it doesn't matter. An inside source tells the National Enquirer that Nicholson is now clocking in at around 350 pounds and knows he's a sorry sight. His friends are reportedly growing increasingly worried. He doesn't want people to see him looking like this and has become a virtual recluse, the snitch explains. Friends fearing for hefty hermit Jack Nicholson's life? Oh.
Is this fucking Black Gossip Online?
GossipCop.com.
It's one of those websites where it's just someone said something, so now it's his news.
The tabloids share a picture of Nicholson on a public stroll in 2017. He had hush-hush bypass surgery. It goes on to further shame the One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest actor, rolling lots of dirty details. The tabloids call out his sex life as a Hollywood horn dog and his recent career failings as an outmoded megastar to depict that Nicholson has seemingly given up. You can't beat obesity.
He's 84. He's fucking. What do you want from him? What do you want him to just be? What, being interviewed and say stupid shit? No, good for him. Be a recluse. I mean, it sucks that he's sad. I hope he's not sad. He would just be like, "Yes, I am old and fat now. Fuck you guys. Like, who cares? You know, just
You would have
embrace
to
it."
imagine, but who knows? I mean, these stars are weird people.
That's true.
The magazine is
Uh,
not subtle, calling Nicholson a beached whale, chubby, and likening him to a balloon. um, Furthermore,
with the
the
Globe and
tabloid,
Mail is
the National Enquirer. Furthermore, the tabloid insists that Nicholson is a washed-up has-been that is wasting away and stuffing his face because Hollywood is done with him. I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's accurate at all. My feeling is that somebody who doesn't like Nicholson or might be a personal enemy of his acted as an informant, quote
a
unquote.
snitch. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
to feed this article. It kind of feels like this reminds me of there's a great underrated actor named Bo Keem Woodbine who's in Fargo season 2, and he pops up in movies every so often. He was also in Dead Presidents, the Hughes brothers film from
Oh yeah,
the
yeah,
90s.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He
He's
looks just like one of the characters from Silverhawks, the cartoon from the 80s. That no one
he's
knows, just me. I don't know why I just
yeah
said that.
he's a terrific actor. But if you look up his
Yeah, he's
name,
good.
there's a weird article on a website like this, which is like Bo Keem Woodbine has mental illness. Bo, everybody's talking, and this was before he was like known for Fargo. This is from like 2006 or 7, where he's like kind of irrelevant. Um, Fargo really put him on the radar. He got him in a Spider-Man movie as Electro, not Electro, as
Oh yeah, he
Shocker,
was good.
Herman Schultz.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So this is before then. It's like Bo Keem Woodbine. Word on the street is Bo Keem Woodbine has mental illness. Ha ha, he has to take pills. What a crazy person.
What the fuck?
It's very bizarre. And it's like, it seems like a 1980s, like, or 70s, like, I don't know. It just feels like some enemy of his, personal enemy from non-famous life, wrote an article and wrote it in the most, I don't want to use the word offensive, but like insensitive way possible,
Right.
and used it as like an
Childish.
outing thing, like if you were going to out somebody as a sex offender.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's like he's got mental illness. Na 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 na.
Yeah, yes, yeah, yeah. It's exactly like that. But nowhere
I mean,
else seems to be reporting on his mental illness.
what
Okay, hold on. MarriedWiki.com has something. Once there was a rumor he was suffering from a mental disorder. That's it.
married?
Is Bo Keem Woodbine gay? No. Is Bo Keem Woodbine having any relationship affair? No. How many children does Bo Keem Woodbine have? 0 children. Is Bo Keem Woodbine married? Married. Yeah, I don't know.
He's doing okay. He's gonna be in the new Ghostbusters movie. He was in that Wu-Tang series, Queen and Slim, Spencer Confidential. That was good, right? You watched
The
that?
big Boston film when you came to town. That was on billboards all
Oh
over the
yeah, that's
place.
true. That's the one was happening. Yeah, Overlord. He's doing alright. That Halo. There's a Halo series coming to Showtime apparently,
That's gonna be shit.
based on the video game.
Didn't they already do that?
No,
I
I think
think there was
been a
something.
movie. A movie's been rumored for. I mean, since the first Xbox came out, and that game became popular. But I don't think. I think this is the first time they've actually done it. Unless you were talking about what was it, Reds versus Blue, which was that web series. I think it was called.
That was
Machinima, I think.
unofficial, wasn't it? I don't think that was actually.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was something like a
Machinima.
mission. Yeah, back in the
Yeah,
early days of YouTube when you could do fan films
yeah.
and actually use like character models and make sales about these things.
With
I
this.
just found one recently for Street Fighter. That was a Machinima series, and it looks like all cosplay fan film stuff, but they re-edited it into a movie and released it this year on Amazon Prime.
I was about to ask, do you think any of them are doing anything right now? The Machinima people?
No, I think they either moved on to actual like companies that are in Hollywood, or they just got faded out. I can't find this Bo Keem Woodbine mental disorder article anymore. Someone must have taken it down.
Or maybe that website fucking died because what was it?
I don't
Some
know.
gossipy.
I wish I could find it. It was so peculiar. It was so unusual. There's a. I just found another one about because I googled Bo Keem Woodbine mental health, and it brought me to how Dave Chappelle met his wife Elaine when he was poor, and it's all about his wife Elaine,
The
who's like a
Asian,
Vietnamese
right?
woman. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, if anybody's watching this and can find that Bo Keem Woodbine article, please send it my way. I would love to give it a read. Have a good laugh. Anyway,
Oh.
anything else about the Oscars in general?
No. I'm now intrigued to know if Zack Snyder is going to be nominated as Best Director. Kind of hope he does at the same time
I think it really depends on the third
because
quarter. The third and fourth quarter this year is going to be telling as to whether or not he'll have a shot. If there's a whole lot of Oscar bait that was held over, or a big commercial block, I mean, how do you even measure a blockbuster at this point? Because it seems like even when the theaters do open up, they're still going to be streaming prioritized. I don't know.
I just think that if you get these old people that are in charge of making these decisions apparently to watch 4 hours of a Zack Snyder movie, I think that's a win already for me without it having to win. So that would be enough if it's sent and then they watch it. Just because trying to see them figure out what's going on in this movie would just be fun for me, I guess. But I mean, at one point they're gonna have to lower their snobby standards, if you want to call them that, and start doing superhero movies if that's the case, just because they're part of cinema. Like Oscars back in the day were prestigious and seen as like the best the best representation of good movies or whatever that we have, or the best way to classify them or whatever. But since that's not a thing anymore, they're gonna have to adjust to get that audience back. I don't know if I see them going into like a MTV Movie Award show type of thing where it's so much towards that side, but I think they're gonna have to start doing concessions and nominating horror or nominating sci-fi or nominating those genres that are so popular, and they've refused to do it just because they want to keep that, pinky finger up when they talk about Oscars.
Right. Well, here's the thing. 2019's Oscars, as in like the films of 2019, I think was either the dying breath of the Academy Awards, or it was a sign that they can come back depending on what films are nominated and if it's an interesting year for movies. In retrospect, I think 2019 stands out as an especially strong year for films that were released. And then you take a look at obviously this past year, and it seems like, wow, this is back in the gutter, and it's back to superficial wins and movies that don't actually matter or are not going to stand the test of time. Right? It's all shit. We're in a dark environment. Let's try to survive it. And I don't know if they really. I mean, I would say at one point when you saw that Black Panther was nominated and you saw that Joker was nominated, that they would, maybe be considering going in a direction that would appeal to younger people who have more commercial interests in their movies. I don't know if that's the case. I think it depends on how this Academy Awards ceremony looks, and if they decide they want to give up, because that could happen. Things don't last forever. Or if they think that they should pivot entirely into commercial. But I don't. I mean, here's the thing. This sort of liberalism that gives victories, like metaphoric victories, to causes is religious. It's not something that is entirely financially driven. I do think there's that component to it, but I don't think people would do it if they thought that they were strictly doing it for a gain of some kind. I think they're doing it because they think that they're bettering society. I really do.
Yeah, yeah. Ugh. I'm trying to look up the ratings, but nothing's come out yet.
It's not going to come out till probably late tomorrow or the day after. They're going to do the tallies. I have a feeling it's going to be very low. Very low. I think it's going to be single digit low. I mean, what was the what was it? Is that on?
It was 23 last
23
year.
last year?
23 million, yeah. 5.3 rating.
I'm going to make a guess right now. It's going to be 14 million.
You think half?
I think
Almost
it's going to
half
cut
of
in
that?
half. I think this Oscars has the all-time least amount of hype around it. I didn't even realize the Oscars were tonight, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Is this well, no, we didn't do an Oscars episode last year, did we?
I think we did one on, well, I did one. When we launched season 3 of the podcast, I decided to do an episode where I was going to do a quick countdown of my top 10 films from 2017 and 2018, I think it was, or 2018 and 2019. And then I did a special on the Oscar nominees. So you were not on for that one.
Okay. But I guess we did do best movies of the year last year, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's easier for me than watching Oscar-nominated movies.
It's also going to be more informative to people who are tuning into this show, I think.
Yeah.
Because they're going to give you, again, the approved list, and we're going to give... I think we did a pretty good and comprehensive countdown of 2020 films and also just movies watched in 2020, which is probably going to be more beneficial to the average film goer.
Well, I think I've already watched more movies this year than last year, so I think my list will be much better. I feel like my list last year was kind of shit, but because of everything that happened. But I mean, I can't imagine the Oscars not existing just because of the whole institution of it, and because I know that regular people still watch that thing, and I always use my parents as a barometer for that, because I think, okay, 50, 60-year-old person that lives in a third world country is still interested in this. That means that there might still be an audience in that age bracket, I guess, but I can't imagine them just getting rid of it just because it's such a blowjob to their own industry that I can't imagine just them not doing that.
You're right. I don't think they're going to get I don't think they're going to give it the boot anytime soon. But what I do think is that we're probably approaching the terrain of it being online only broadcast.
Yeah, I see that.
And also you got to think about it. It's expensive to put that ceremony on. Mm-hmm. So there are countless millions of dollars being put into this ceremony. And also I think they got like Steven Soderbergh to direct it this year. Like his paycheck, that alone is going to be a lot.
That's stupid, by the way.
What I think is going to happen.
Why would you get a real director to direct a TV show, like a live? That's stupid. That's just a waste of money.
When I mean, before the ceremony, and this was one of the reasons I decided not to watch it this year, they said it was going to be shot like a film. Why? And they were going to allow more time for speeches. Those were the two big scoops that were dropped. Like, yeah, that's what people are looking for, is we want to hear these actors going on and on more.
Yeah, right. We want to hear more names that we don't recognize. Yep, that's great.
Terrible. So I might check out like the highlight reel later today. We'll see. I don't know. To what I was saying before, I think we're gonna soon see this go direct to YouTube or direct to Hulu or something like that, and it'll scale back the budget overall, and they will probably they'll probably hit the people that they need to hit without having to spend as much money.
Yeah.
So
Netflix, the Oscars, exclusively on one. Yeah, I can see that. Mostly because nobody gives a fuck about it anymore.
It'll probably be Netflix. I think Netflix would go for it because it's going to be Netflix movies that are. I mean, whoever gets that licensing is going to have a big advantage in winning, and you're going to be able to say Academy Award nominated films.
Well, is that when it officially dies?
Yeah.
Do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think then it becomes very clear that
The prestige is
it's
gone.
very
Yeah.
it's it's a weighted ballot. So we'll see. We'll see. I think that's probably within the next 5 years,
Hopefully.
hopefully. But then we need
Yeah.
something new. We need something to take its place. That's the thing.
Gotta figure out a better way to award good movies. I don't know. I don't know because if you look at all of the other ones, like they all have like their own little biases too. Like if you look at the not the Golden Globe, yeah, the Golden Globes, or like the BAFTA, which is another one that.
Golden Globes is especially heinous as far as that goes because you have a set group that is usually voting for things and can be swayed by nominees. Like I remember the year that The Tourist was nominated for a bunch of awards. I think it was Johnny Depp and Angelina Jolie.
Oh.
No. The Tourist.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was like a 30% on Rotten Tomatoes, but it like inexplicably got a bunch of categories like Best Actor, Best Film, and then what's his name winning for Rocket Man in 2019. Taron
yeah.
something.
Sure.
Right,
Something Irish.
right after he threw like a celebration with Elton John.
Egerton? Is it
Taron-
Egerton?
It might be Taron Egerton.
Something like
Joel
that. Yeah.
Edgerton. I don't know. Whoever played Elton John in Rocket Man. The story is that Elton John threw a giant party with that kid in attendance and a lot of the members of the Hollywood foreign press who choose the winners. So
Yeah.
you can do the math easily. All right. I think that's a good note to go out on because it's very late here now.
Yeah.
All right. That's been movies for this week. Don't watch the next Oscars. And not unless Mass State Lottery squeaks in there, which I think it could happen. I think I'm going head to head with Zack Snyder for 2020. I think so.
What would you wear? How would you show? Should we just show up dressed up like Matt and Trey? We just wear dresses, the four of us,
Yeah, that'd be
or
great.
something like that. We're just like making fun of how ridiculous it is.
We should show up looking like Jack Nicholson in these photos.
Yes,
Hamburgers and fries.
I'm getting there, so
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Dude, I went to the gym today for like the first time in I couldn't even tell you. And man, I was really depressed after 15 minutes. I was like, wow.
Dude, I went on a bike ride with my girlfriend. She goes on her bike every day. It was. Let me do the conversion just because to tell you how hot it was. Okay, so it was like 104 degrees, and I was like, yeah, this sounds like a good idea. I rode that bike for like 20 minutes, and I almost passed out. Like I was ready to throw up and pass out and everything, and my girlfriend was just standing next to me, just like, what happened to you? Like, what is this? She had to go into a house and ask for a banana that I could eat so that I wouldn't die.
You had to get your potassium up.
Yeah,
so you wouldn't
and
pass
it's
away.
mostly because I used to have a treadmill hill, so I would just jump on that treadmill and that would be my exercise. I lost a shitload of weight, but I have a brother that's fucking retarded, so he thought that he would just move it, but it's like this huge thing. So he moved it in a way that he pulled the thing out of the fucking thing. So now it just doesn't work. So now I have nothing to do exercise with, and I'm just getting fat. So yeah, I'll get to that size, I'm sure, by December if I continue this way. So maybe we'll be able to pull that off.
Yeah. For me, Massachusetts, you had a lot of room to walk around and just go for a stroll. And I had also a weight bench in Massachusetts. Well, I don't have that in New York, and I do a lot of sitting in New York. So as soon as I got on like the elliptical, my knees started locking up like an elderly person. I was just like, oh Jesus!
Dude, I played. I think I don't know if I've told this story on the podcast. I'm sure I have, but I used to play soccer when I was a kid all the time with my friends, and when I was doing this treadmill exercise that I lost a bunch of weight, I was like, well, I'm sure that I will be able to play now. And I went to play with my friends. I played for 2 minutes and I almost ripped my ACL on my right knee. And 1 year later, it was still hurting. So it's just like a slap in the face from life, just being like, oh yeah, no. It's like you've been sitting for 10 years on your ass, and now you think that you can just do this thing.
Damn.
And yeah,
2 minutes of soccer, you accomplished what many do throughout their football careers. Typically, it takes 10 years. It takes them out of the game, so you can be an Uncle Rico and talk about how you had so much potential.
You know what the worst part is? That no one believed me. So
faking to get out of the
because it was so early. So I just I heard it.
Did you say, "Oh, my mom called me. I have to go home for dinner in the middle of the game"?
Because I was in so much. I couldn't even play it off. I was in so much pain. So I just went ah, and I just rolled around on the ground. My friend told me that I didn't. I don't know because my eyes were closed. I was just rolling on the ground. My friend told me that everyone was just standing around like what?
Laughing at you.
What's happening? Yeah. No one believed me. And then I dragged my body off the soccer field or whatever. And everyone was still kind of well, fine. Even my friend was yeah, who cares, whatever. And then it was yeah, you almost had a major, a real athlete injury after playing for 2 minutes, you fat piece of shit.
Jesus Christ. Well,
yeah.
I can't think of a perfect note to end on than that. All right, that's been movies, I guess. Sorry about your soccer career coming to a close prematurely.
Yep. I mean, I'm 35. It's not prematurely.
I don't know. Tom Brady's 40. There's always hope, right?
Fair enough.
Brett Favre. All right, that's been the episode. Thank you for listening.